Hello everyone, so today I'm going to be showing you all how to make a pillowcase, and this is just what it looks like folded up, but when you unfold it you'll see you have this gorgeous pillowcase here. And just note throughout this video I'm not going to be giving you guys measurements, just in case you have a larger or smaller pillow than I do. I don't want to be giving you the wrong information. So I will just tell you how you can find your measurements, and so just note that. It's really easy. You don't really need to know too advanced things to do this project. I did do a French seam on this, but you don't have to do a French seam. You could just do a regular seam if you want. But if you do know how to do it, I think it would look better because you would have a cleaner seam here. And all the seams are nice and concealed. You don't have any seams showing or anything on the inside, except for your seam here, which is why I encourage you to do a French seam if you know how to do it, because it'll just look nicer. So it's really easy to make, so let's get into the video. So you're of course going to need some fabric, and I'm just using this purple material. And to find the measurements for this, you just basically want to wrap it around the pillow and find the measurement, but you do want to make sure you leave a little bit extra on the sides. I'd say maybe an inch or two, so that you have enough room for a seam allowance, and also you don't want the pillowcase to be as big as the pillow, otherwise you won't be able to get the pillowcase up the pillow. So you want it to be a little bit bigger. So I'd say maybe 1.5 to 2 inches extra on the sides, just to make sure that that'll all fit. And then you're also going to need some ribbon or other fabric. I'm using ribbon, but you can use fabric. And this is just 2 inches. And you just want to measure this around the pillow to get, you know, what that is. Again, with a little bit extra on the side. And then the last thing that you're going to need is your top part here. I'm using this white lacy material here. And you want this to be able, I'm not sure how large this measures, but if you fold it in half, you should have a good amount here. It kind of depends on what you want. I like having mine, I think this is maybe 6 inches or so. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it's around that measurement if you fold it in half. So you want about 12 inches of this if you want about 6 inches of it to be showing. And then last but not least, as I say in all of my videos, the sewing essentials: scissors, pins, and of course a sewing machine. You can do this by hand if you want to, but it might be a bit more difficult. I'm using a sewing machine. And so I think that's pretty much it for the supplies that you're going to need. And so yeah, let's get into the video. So I have my fabric sort of laid out a little bit here. Basically what I'm going to begin by doing is I'm going to take my 2-inch piece here. I'm actually just going to iron this down, but since I'm not allowed to use an iron, I'm just going to kind of hold it there. If you can't use an iron, then it's fine. You can just hold it down and it'll still work. So basically I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And you're going to want to go ahead and pin this in place. And you want to make sure that the pins are going horizontally. Usually you put them in vertically so you can sew them, but we're not going to be sewing them yet. So I finished pinning that up. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my cuff piece here. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to lay it right over on top of this. You're going to want to do this with the wrong side facing up, like this. And what we're going to do is I'm going to repin this all the way down, making sure I catch those layers. So I just pinned that all the way across with the white part here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to flip it upwards. And this is why we wanted to pin them horizontally, so that we were able to flip this up. And we'll have this side exposed. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our main fabric and we're just going to roll it. This might kind of be hard to see a little bit, but I'm going to roll this up just like this so that's out of the way. And then we're going to flip this back down just like this. And we're going to take everything inside and we're going to flip it over. And we're going to take this part here and we're going to flip that back up. So let me do this again so you guys can see what I'm doing here. So we have it like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our our white fabric and we're going to pull that up, and then we're going to take our main fabric and we're going to roll it upwards so that it's out of the way like this. And you don't want to roll it up too far because when you sew it, you don't want to sew this part here. And what we're going to do is we're going to flip this white part back over on top, and then we're going to take the whole thing, flip it around, and take this white part and fold it back over here. And we're going to have all the raw edges here, and what we're going to do is we're going to repin the whole thing, all these layers, but this time we're going to pin them vertically so that we can sew them. So I went ahead and I pinned all this down, and I made sure that the pins were going in vertically. As you can see, they're all vertical so that we can sew them, and we're just going to sew that all the way across, but make sure that you don't catch any of this inside fabric because we're going to use that to turn everything back to the right side. So I sewed all of that up, and I went over a couple of times just to make sure that I caught everything. What you're going to do is you're going to reach inside here, and you're just going to pull out that whole inside. So, alright, that all turned out nicely. I caught all of those layers and everything in there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to begin sewing everything together. And this is where it gets really easy, and you're pretty much all done after you sew all this together. And I'm actually doing a French seam, so I'm actually going to put the wrong sides together. And I'm just going to give you a little brief thing on what a French seam is here. I cut these little ends off. A French seam just makes it look really clean on the inside, and to do it, you begin by putting the wrong sides together, and you sew down, and then you flip it out so that the wrong side is facing out, and then you sew it again a little bit more in so that it looks nice and clean. So I'll show you what I mean after I sew this together with the wrong sides facing each other. So I sewed this up, and notice again that I did it on the right side because what we're going to do is create a French seam, and what we're going to do is turn this around to the wrong side, and then we're just going to sew it up again on the same side, and just make sure that you cover up your seam from before so that it is all nice. So meaning I have my seam here, just make sure it's a little bit more in the seam so that you don't have any raw edges peeking through. So after you complete that French seam, you're pretty much done with your pillowcase, and as you can see, it's super easy, and the seams are all concealed and everything looks nice. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and I guess I will see you guys in my next video. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!